There's nothing confidential about the constitution-making process, for God's sake.
Then this diplomat wants to be funny, funding people to say, no, you must make sure that this constitution does not go through.
Until there's some people who removed our meal allowances. So you are removing HH and you want to come in. So have you remove our meal allowances again? Sorry.
This country was gone.
Under the PF?
Under the PF, this country, my man, was gone.
Ask him to come and explain. Is that not insults? Now it becomes an insult because it's poor, why me? And that why me must be discarded. No.
From day one, Michael Sata wanted me dead. Not necessarily physically.
He wanted you dead?
I don't want to answer that one for now.
Maybe you become the first female president of this country.
Exactly. That's where it's going.
That's where it's going.
Start your day with Sunrise Breakfast Show. The flagship morning show on Prime TV2. Wake up to breakfast news as it happens.
What if you're not away?
In-depth discussions on the day's top stories. Live reporter checkings from across the country. Expert analysis on government policies and their impact. The latest in local and international sports. Catch us on Topstar Channel 110 and follow us on Facebook at PTV2 Zambia.
Sunrise Breakfast.
Sunrise Breakfast Show only on Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
If it's not on Prime TV2, verify it. Our dedicated reporters across the country bring you accurate, well-researched news, keeping you informed 24/7. Catch us on Topstar Channel 110 and follow us on Facebook.
Good morning and welcome to today's edition of Daybreak. Took a brief recess, but we're up and running yet again on this fine Monday morning on the 27th of April 2026. Even as we're counting down to the end of this particular month, we'll be wrapping up on Thursday, and of course come the 1st of May, which is going to be on a Friday, we'll be able to transition and cross over and get to what we call the ERB day, where we get to find out about the fuel pump prices, of course being affected by external forces as well. Welcome to each and every one of you joining us on various platforms, be it on our Facebook platform, our socials, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We acknowledge each and every one of you, extending those greetings and acknowledgements to Lukulu Radio Management for according us an opportunity to be able to brief and update the people of Lukulu. Greetings to the people staying in the land of plenty, the likes of Solomon, Kabezi, and other individuals, greeting you, coming, of course, all the way from that particular area, and also acknowledging those of you joining us even beyond the borders as well. And we're hoping that you'll be able to let us know how the political arena is doing in other nations as well. My name is John Mark Lukwande. On set with me, Paul Shingongo and Naomi Musoya. Paul, good morning.
Good morning, John Mark. Good morning to Naomi. Good morning to the viewers. Glad to be back on the People's Show. Always excited beginning the day. Of course, beginning the week with the people with us as always.
Indeed. Good morning, Paul. Looking lovely. What do you call that?
They're called crossbills.
Okay, great. Good. Good morning, John Mark. Good morning, dear viewer. All listener from wherever in the world you're joining us today. Indeed, super excited to be back. And yes, it's about to get hot as usual. Here to educate you, inform you, as well as entertain you, coming from the weekend full of activities. How you doing, people of Kasama? You do have a hotel now. Some exciting things. When we do have time to speak into that, the president was in Kasama commissioning, of course, had so much to do with regards, opening the hotel there. But of course, he actually even traveled to meet the king as he was celebrating his birthday. He arrived yesterday from Eswatini. So it was a weekend full of activities, and looking forward to how the rest of the week progresses. Paul didn't know tomorrow is a holiday, or maybe he forgot. Zambians are reflecting on the Kaunda legacy as we slowly get to KK Day, which is coming up tomorrow. But also slowly getting into a brand new month, which is going to be our month. Yes, speaking into our month, because on the 3rd we celebrate World Press Freedom Day. So conversations around us building up to that day, we'll be able to have them in studio. So be here, and of course look out for interesting conversations up ahead. Keep the conversations going on a different social platform, the Prime Television Facebook page, Zambia. Love to hear from you this morning, even with so much that have happened from the tabloids. Something that to look out for as well. We'll be checking out with what's coming out from the newspapers. More information, of course, building from this ECL saga. So this and much more on the show. But for now, let's head to check out with how the weather is looking like this morning in most places, before we get to check out with how the money markets are faring. In most places this morning, the morning will be mainly cloudy, windy at times, and warm to mild, with minimum temperatures ranging between 16 degrees and 19 degrees in most places. The afternoons will be mainly cloudy, slightly windy, and warm, with a chance of isolated rain and minimum thunder. Of course, with the temperatures ranging between 25 degrees and 30 degrees. The evening will be partly cloudy, slightly windy, and warm to mild, with a chance of isolated rain expected to get into tomorrow, where we'll have a feel of isolated rain expected over the northern parts of the country, while much of the country will be partly cloudy, slightly windy, and warm, produced by the Zambia Meteorological Department, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. That is how the weather is looking like this morning. Let's head to check out with how the reds fared as of the close of business. Business day will get to open this morning. The United States dollar was buying at 18 kwacha 71 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 3 ngwe. The Great British Pound buying at 25 kwacha 24 ngwe and getting to sell at 25 kwacha 67 ngwe. The Euro buying at 21 kwacha 89 ngwe and selling at 22 kwacha 26 ngwe. The South African Rand buying at 1 kwacha 13 ngwe and getting to sell at 1 kwacha 15 ngwe. Note that these rates are indicative and of course may vary from bank to bank, even as we head to business day this morning. These are rates courtesy of the Bank of Zambia. After this short break, we check out with what's trending from the newspapers. Good morning to you.
Some kids are just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the right levels of omega-3 and 6. Blue Band, a spoonful of difference.
Indeed, we'll be able to give away some Blue Band even in the course of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you do well to follow through on those special editions. And of course, acknowledging a number of you who are already sending in your messages on our Facebook platform, Prime Television Zambia. I can see the likes of Robert Tembo says, following from Solwezi. How is Solwezi doing? How's the weather in Solwezi? Robert, kindly let us know. As well as Obi saying, good morning, Daybreak family, following from Kasempa. It's good to know that Kasempa is glued. Greetings to the people of Kasempa. as well. It is represented well by Obi. Sharon Owen Jones says, good morning. Timmy Mwale Jr. says, good morning, Daybreak family, watching you from Macha Choma District, Southern Province. Keep the messages coming. We'll be able to read them. Please don't forget to like and share the link. It also does well for our numbers as well. Luwangu says, good morning. Keep the messages coming. We will be able to cover them as we progress on the first edition of the week. In case you are watching Daybreak for the first time, we come your way from Monday right through to Friday. And then, of course, much later on in the course of the program, we'll be able to open up the phone lines and we'll be able to have Jeremiah come through at 9, being a Monday, to just let us know about what is taking place in the world of sports. But for now, the papers with Paul.
Indeed, John Mark, just before we get into the tabloids, there was the story we did see during the weekend that is very important for us to talk about. These are things that I think as Daybreak we've also spent a bit of time to address because they are a part and parcel of our lives. Chainama Hospital released some damning statistics just from January that over 200 women have been going there for mental illness related matters stemming from relationships. So failed relationships leading cause of mental illness amongst women this year, according to Chainama Hospital. More than 200 people, the majority of them women, have been treated at Lusaka's Chainama Youth Hospital for severe mental illness triggered by divorces and failed relationships since January this year. Hospital spokesperson George Tafuna revealed that 3/4 of the cases involved women struggling with depression after being abandoned by their husbands. Dr. Tafuna explained that many women find it difficult to cope when left alone with children, especially as family support structures have shifted towards nuclear circles, something I think I've spoken vehemently here on. He went on to say, we saw about 200 patients this quarter, and 3/4 of those we have seen are women battling anxiety and depression. We have more cases of depression. Majority women affected by failed relationship. They said the hospital provides psychotherapy and cognitive behavioral therapy to help women regain independence, particularly those raised to depend entirely on their husbands. For men, most cases involved struggles with the pressure of providing for the families. So for the men, the 1/3 that constituted, it was because of the pressure of providing. These are serious matters. Dr. Tafuna said for a long time, men have been dealing with issues of high expectations from women because they've been taught to be providers for their families. It goes on to say a few other things, but also exposes a situation that possibly has not received a lot of attention, and it's two-sided. And I'll speak on both briefly. Women also have been wired to depend on men, and I think we've been making progress over the years in trying to allow the women to be independent, but some are still stuck that sugar, salty, soda, diaper, Von said it is the man. So when the man is not there, the gap is felt. Now you can imagine if the man is not there, you that is receiving is filling the gap. Now imagine a man who has to bear that burden throughout. That is also something that we rarely speak on, that men are also breaking down, but also because society. I was watching a very interesting clip of a certain lady. For me, she was saying very interesting things that I think are very important for us to pay attention to. But let's hear what this lady was saying, because it speaks into this challenge that now Chainama Hospital is telling us that we have as a country. Let's hear from her.
Well, it's easy for a lady to say indoda must when she has nothing to offer. Yeah. You are relying. The thing that I fear the most is being exposed to a lifestyle that I cannot sustain myself when I'm not married. I mean, as a wife, of course, I mean, spoil me, why not? But as a lady, you should be ashamed to make such demands from a man. It's actually prostitution, if we are being honest.
It is.
It's prostitution.
No, it is.
It's prostitution because
glorified prostitution.
What are you transacting? You're transacting your body for a lifestyle.
Exactly.
That's prostitution.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't stand by the corners and sell yourself, but it's prostitution. But it all goes back to fatherlessness. Because you did not have a man who was able to provide for you when you were young. Suddenly, you want these men who are still starting up in life to assume this role that your father failed to fulfill.
And you have not seen the moments where the father says, my daughter, not this month, let's do it next month. At this point, we are low as a family, let's recover, but after that, I'll do that. You don't know the voice when a father says, no, this is not how it's done. Let's go this way.
So it becomes, it's delusion, you know, they're deluded, they are under gross darkness to think that a man is responsible for you. A man is responsible for his wife and kids, not for his girlfriend. If he chooses to spoil you, beautiful, but you are not, it's not your right. It's not a birthright for a man to provide for you.
Please say that again. I love how you say it.
Yeah.
A man is responsible.
He's responsible for his wife and children, not a girlfriend. If a man chooses to spoil you as a girlfriend, you are so fortunate. Be grateful for it. But it becomes an error when you demand more. In fact, it's so dangerous because you're going to become lazy. You will never want to do anything for yourself. You'll always want your man to give you and give you and give you. That's why you'll see there was a time on social media where ladies would post the bank notification to say, oh, he just gave me this, oh, he just gave me that. But what do they even do with that money? They buy wigs. They don't buy anything of value to start a business or something.
Hallelujah.
Because they are, oh, Lord Jesus, help me. I want to say they're empty heads.
No, they are. Most of them are.
It's frustrating.
Because they're not really, most of them, honestly, they're not really women of substance.
Yeah.
Very, catchy things she's saying, but I think these are conversations that maybe can help us. Where she says, look, a man is not responsible for his girlfriend, because it begins from there. Before we talk about wife, husband, it begins, there's a foundation. But if you're wired to think that your boyfriend is responsible for you, like she said, it makes you lazy, dependent on one person, okay, to the point that now even when you enter into marriage, that's the mentality they carry. The mentality is that this is my provider. When he is not there, that's what Dr. Tafuna is saying, that the majority of them were struggling to cope with a loss, meaning the absence of the man. They're now struggling, anxiety, depression, because they built their lifestyle on these men.
The teachings that we have as a society, even with the things that we have been taught since time immemorial about how men are supposed to provide for and how the women are just supposed to be there, like, seated on the driver's seat, waiting to receive. And even just conversations, maybe from our older women in society and even in the families, that's speaking to how, no, you will see how a man will be able to take care of you when you are dating. If he can't, do certain things for you while you are dating, then maybe he can't even be able to provide for you. How then do we begin to break down such demystifications? Because they actually begin from there.
Yeah, they begin from there. We need to begin to change the syllabus. And it's just that we've been very reluctant to accept reality, even from the scriptures. Last time I shared Proverbs 31, reading from 10 going downwards, on how a woman, that virtuous woman we praise, was also able to have our own income, able to buy land from her own money, able to buy land and was trading. We don't focus on that, but that's another component, because one of the things you realize is you You see, that's the thing people are not realizing. The women that have been going to Chainama Hospital have felt the absence of their men. Now, imagine the burden on those men. Just imagine if you can even feel his absence. Now, imagine the weight of the burden he carries.
And also beyond the financial contributions, of course, attributions, which is very critical, Paul, right? But of course, now times have changed and women have jobs. Even though they have jobs, they have money, they have their own money, they still expect that, the men will be able to give them something. And for me, beyond the financial contribution that the men offer, also I think we should begin to speak into how your wealth is not tied to any person. And again, from time immemorial, women have been taught or conversations around women building the fact that if you don't have maybe children, even if you don't have a man, you are seen as insignificant. You could have all the success in this world, you could have titles, but if you lack that Mrs. title, then something is missing. So let's speak into those issues also. And because of that background of where we're coming from, even the empowered women sometimes feel the gap of the man and not just miss the financial part, which is critical, but they also miss, the component of being with somebody, because as a society, when you have someone,
it's not society.
When you have a miss, you are called a Mrs., then you are worth it.
It's not society, Naomi. It is our design. We are relational beings.
So it's okay to want to be and want someone.
In fact, it's not okay if you don't want to be with someone, because that's how we were built. We were built for relationships. Unless you choose those that go, those that want to be celibate, those that want to be fathers, priests in the Catholic Church or something like that.
Or nuns.
Yes, or nuns, yes. And they even ensure that they are sure about their decision. There are years where they would ensure that they are given an option. Do you still want to continue or not? Because this is not the actual design of your life. God has put in us a desire to want to be loved, and that is a very godly.
The desire for companionship.
Yes, that's a godly desire.
But that is good, and we don't take that away. But doesn't that also speak into how certain people are actually even with toxic people? Because come rain, come sunshine, you must be with someone. No. And because of that, if it doesn't work, because you are taught to fight for it, the whole life depends on it, and hence, if it's toxic, it's not working, you get miserable, you get depressed, because you're expected to actually keep a marriage at all expense. To keep a relationship at any expense.
No one says you're expected to keep a relationship or marriage. I don't think so. I don't think there's any teaching that speaks to that. People, especially now, people are being told if it's not working, leave. If it's not working, leave. Relationships, someone says a broken courtship is better than a broken marriage. You leave that, courtship. But the issue, very important issue, which we should not neglect here, is the aspect of the financial aspect of these relationships. And that is what is taking people to Chainama. It's finances. Where ladies have built their lives around a man.
And listen to the statement that she mentioned. I think for me, the part that stood out to me was where she says women are expecting husbands or men to take up the roles of the fathers who failed.
Yes, who failed.
Who failed. Yes. So you are getting into a relationship, you know that your father failed. And you're expecting someone who you just met for 2, 3, 4 years to take up the role which your father has not done for so long. So that also speaks volumes.
John Mark, do you know that out there, and the viewers can attest, there's a term called girlfriend allowance. You have a girlfriend who has a father and mother. You start giving an allowance just because they are. And you see, if we don't deal with these issues, these are the issues that now graduate into marriage.
Where did the girlfriend allowance concept come from?
Now we need to answer this question, because I'm sure she's also on an allowance. Look, when you are dating a lady now, unfortunately you are responsible for her hair. Unfortunately, you're responsible for a data.
Not that
data Asira. Dr. Miasira.
Don't forget the birthday.
Yes, birthdays.
That is huge.
Look,
not that you should, guys.
It should be done out of love, not out of
exactly
duty.
What is love? Even scripture tells us that love is given, right? And so when you love someone, nobody's putting a gun to your head I think voluntarily you want to give.
But you
give,
know.
so you want to give of your time. You want to give of, your monies or anything really.
You're right.
It's not.
It should be it should be something that someone should volunteer. But when they don't, you can see that the girl will begin to resent you. That's how it is.
She's already saying that
foundation
birthdays are big. It's your birthday, it's not mine. Why should it be big to me?
Well, if it matters to me, it should matter to you.
But it's not out of duty, and that's a pressure now
Out
that
of
graduates into marriage. And until we begin to address it, the number maybe for the second quarter will be more than 200.
I think it also comes from the girls themselves, their communities, because you find that when the ladies among themselves, they talk, my boyfriend got me this. So there's an expectation, okay, your boyfriend is treating you like this. He took me to Seavonga, he took me to Samfia Beach. And because of that circle, they now start lifting their standards to that particular standard as well.
But people are different, so should your expectations really. Relationships are different. So it would be very unrealistic for me to expect what, for instance, Rhoda's man does for her, and I want my man to do the same things for me. That's very, very...
and you see what Dr. Tafuna said? He said the men are loaded with expectations from their partners. The men that have gone there to Chainama Hospital for mental health, mental illness related matters is because of expectations from women. Expect too much from us, and sometimes men break down. There's a song, Kalindula song. Please go and listen to it. I thought
you just made that.
The other people know that song.
You've not made that song.
No. Okay. They can agree. That's a good.
Put it in the comment section. Who sang that song?
The pressure is too much
for the men. How can we make the burden lighter for
apply the scriptures? You know what the scriptures say? You are our helpmate. You are our helpers. Right. So, come in.
And on the same point, I'm actually very curious. So, when a woman gets into a relationship, she expects the man to help financially. Is there any financial expectation when it comes from the man expecting the woman to help financially? Is there such a thing?
We want to be helped. There's no man out there who would refuse if their spouse tells them, I think for the next 2 months I have a bit of money, I'll pay rentals. That's a huge relief on the man.
What a miracle.
Not even Percy would refuse such. I've seen him in the comments. He's saying if you find yourself unable to provide for her, it might be best to reconsider. Or perhaps seek a companion who aligns more with your financial capabilities. Wow. That's a pressure that Dr. Tafuna is talking about from Chainama. Expectations. So go to someone who can meet your financial. It's not a business transaction. It's a relationship one. It's a relationship.
And I'm also curious, back on what she had mentioned, referring to the father, saying that the expectation is that the guy who she's going to be able to date is going to take up the role that the father was supposed to play. So women, in other words, when they are in the house, they expect the father to provide. Then when they move from their house to the house of the husband, they're expecting the husband to provide. So is it a lifelong expectation of financial help? It's like Zambia expecting IMF.
You've taken over from the father, right? The father handles you to her.
So at what point is a woman responsible for her own life?
That's a good question.
Do you become separate when you married, Paul? How does it work? You should, nobody, like I said in the beginning, right? Your worth is not tied, should not be tied to any person. And so when you say at one point, is a woman expected to...
So speak to those women, Naomi, who have gone to Chainama this past quarter, and the main reason they've gone to Chainama is because they have failed to cope with the absence of their partners. They were entrusting all the financial responsibilities on these men, and now these men are not there. They are struggling with depression and anxiety. Speak to your fellow women in that regard.
Our fellow women, really, we need to have a honest conversation, ladies. I mean, like I keep saying, your worth is not tied to any person. And yes, it begins from what we have been told, again, from time immemorial, about how men are the providers. So be it. But what are you doing also? You are sufficient enough. Your worth is not tied to any person. Please. And nowadays, this is a good time to be alive as a woman. There's so much that is in your hands. There is so much that you can do. In as much as it is our desire, as Paul has put it, from scriptures that, no man is supposed to be alone. In fact, God made us for connections. To be healthy human beings, we require healthy relationships in our lives, but not at the expense where you feel like when somebody walks away from me, my whole life is finished, I am done. No. Such reliance should come to an end. No person is worth you going, insane for, or you not being in a good state of mind. Yes, we value relationships, and when you're close to someone, when they leave, they walk out of your life. If you are not really highly invested, maybe you will not be affected. But if you are really invested in the relationship and everything that you shared, you will be affected. But do not be affected to an extent where you're not all right mentally. And even if you are, because we're human beings, we'll be affected. Even if you are, you have to seek help. You have to get back on your feet, but don't ever get to a place where you feel like your worth is tied to a person. Regardless of how old you are, your worth is never tied to a person. Whether they are alive, they are with you, they move away, your life still goes on, and you're good to go.
And honestly,
this is where
wide shot.
We clap for now. That was a powerful sermon there now.
Let's go to church.
And even in addition, I think I agree with you, because what happens when the husband dies? I know a couple of friends of mine who will tell me to say, for me, I'm doing well, but I'm worried about my wife. In case I die, what happens?
Yes.
She's at home.
Yes.
She's a housewife, and
there are many men like that.
She's comfortable like that. She doesn't want to get a job, and then at the end of the day, what happens? Maybe if I get fired. Life has got eventualities.
Yes.
And for me also, maybe in conclusion, isn't it strange that a message like this is coming from a woman? If it came from a man, we would understand.
Look,
but the fact that it's coming from a female.
Yeah, that is, what she said, for those girlfriends that want to live on a lifestyle that they cannot finance themselves. She says it's called prostitution. That's how she called it. Prostitution.
That's not a popular
she
statement.
Didn't mince words.
No, she was not missing words at all. Say, look, you want another man to come and fund a lifestyle that your pockets cannot fund. That is prostitution, because what are you bringing on the table? Your body. So you're prostituting.
You want to be paid for looking pretty. You want to be paid for being nice.
So divas, ladies, slave queens, let's ensure that we are bringing value, not just the prettiness, not just the mascara. What do you call it? The foundation. The foundation. That is good, look good, but also bring something beyond that. Makeup that you put up, the hair, the dresses. Beyond that, bring something on the table, so that even if the man, for example, like John Mark said, gets fired or gets sick, or dies, you are not, finding your way to Chainama. You are able to take care, because also, would also love. There's a level of confidence I know that even if something happened to me, my wife is able to take care of our children in the meantime, for a while. There's a level of confidence. But when I know that if anything happens here.
Actually, one person even said sometimes when you go to a funeral, depending on the way the spouse is crying, you can know that they're not crying for the person who has died, but they're crying
Aftermath.
to say, how am I going to survive financially? People are able to tell.
So love empowers. If you're able to empower your partners, your women, your wives, I want to say your husbands. It's a partnership. Yes. Go ahead and do that, because when you're not living, when you no longer walk by this earth, I think you want to leave behind something that will, be able to sustain them.
We've heard a lot of statements that are very ungodly,
like
his money is our money, my money is my money, and we think those statements actually are not getting to the head of these ladies. They're married men today.
That my money is what?
That his money is our money.
Okay.
My money is my money. Yes. So her money is not for the house, but your money is for the house.
What if she has got a larger salary than yours?
Yes, but it's still her money. I know a lot of married men, John Mark, whose wives work and their income does not reach home.
Wow.
I know plenty. There are many married men out there with
not even a coin.
Oh, that is an exaggeration. But yes, money, the chunk of our resources are not reflecting. It does the bills. It pays school fees, house rent,
electricity, and all that.
Yes, groceries. And yet she works. There are many households like that.
Such a burden on his head. Yeah. Well, even though his court mandated to be able to provide,
he also mandated to help, right?
Absolutely.
As a helper.
Can we make things easier for each other? For the burdens to be lifted.
Solomon, I think, is tapping from his name. He says, no woman has made a man a billionaire. What a statement. What a statement. Men have made women billionaires. Women are greedy by nature.
Wow.
You're greedy by nature?
Wow.
Yeah? You're greedy by nature?
No, I don't agree. We're not greedy. We make your lives better. Just pick the ones that actually, make your lives better.
Let's move on. Sitani Mezi Sitali says, good morning, DB. I love the way you articulate issues when discussing a topic. You have to go positive and negative, showing both sides of a topic. Keep it up. For Naomi, you are splendid. I have changed the name of this program from DB to Fala Mwalilango. Whatever it means. Christabel, what does this mean?
Because she knows the language.
Fala Mwalilango. So the name has changed from DB according to Stanley.
Okay.
So please let us know what Fala Mwalilango means. We'll be glad to know the new name of our morning show.
Indeed.
It can reflect tomorrow.
We'll change it.
Fala Mwalilango. So yeah, please keep the conversations going. Let's get into some of the stories in the tabloids. Remember that this program is also live on our YouTube channel. That's Prime Television Zambia. You can go there and follow this conversation on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, share with colleagues. Let the numbers grow. We are happy when you support us in that regard. Let's get to the tabloids. Let's begin with the news diggers. As per custom, you see this projected on your screen. The leading story in the diggers: HH targets 5 million votes, urges UPND members to campaign to their romantic partners, not business partners, to campaign to their romantic. The president has a way of, First of all, that's a huge target, by the way. 5 million. We need to check how many people have registered to vote, first of all, before we even talk about the 5 million, whether it's attainable. But it's good to aim high. You miss the shot that you don't take. So you take the shot first, and that's what our national team lacks. They don't take shots on goal. You find shots on target, nothing, because they're waiting until they're in the 18-yard before they begin to shoot. So that's a good target. Very ambitious. It's good to be ambitious. Sometimes in life, you might not manage to reach the sky, but you reach somewhere closer to the sky. So they say. So 5 million is quite ambitious, but we can only wish you the best. You managed to get 2.8 million. So really, doubling it shouldn't really be a problem.
Especially if you are going to be comparing to your romantic partners.
Yeah, because many you're doubling. So plus now the children. So it's a disclaimer, not to your business partners, to your workmates, campaign to your romantic partners. Because we have seen some households, the husband is voting for another party, the wife is voting for another party. The case of, we had a certain, back in the years, not too long ago, in the household of Fred Membe.
Yes.
Fred Membe belonged to another party, the wife also belongs to another party. Maybe that message needs to go to him. But this time around, discuss as partners. Which way?
We do know now that she's with him, right?
Publicly? She's indicated?
I think there was a time that she did.
She left the UPND?
I think she did.
Okay. Yeah, so please, the president is saying campaign to your romantic partners. That's the leading story in the news diggers. Inspector General of Police warns unruly candidates during nomination day. There's a warning there. Be warned. To be forewarned is to be shanshan.
Forearmed.
To be forearmed. Yeah, Nami has a way. These English phrases quite well. Whichever school she went to. Kablanga girls, they teach that well. They teach that good, that you speak this good English.
What are you saying about Kablanga girls? About my former school, Paul?
Huh?
Well, I'm a representation of that place.
Kablanga girls.
Do you still doubt?
You have a very good representative.
Alumni.
You might want to give her the badge of chairperson of the Alumni Association, but she represents you well with a good English. Yeah? What mumkaenda kuwazungu?
Yeah.
What if Pacey finds you a guy there? who matches your financial needs.
Mm.
He was talking about matching financial needs.
Right. Because according to him, it's very important.
It's very important.
Not like when financial emphasis week. Emphasizing finances.
Another story you will find: Kabesha is dangerously putting himself in harm's way, according to Given Luvinda. I'm not so sure what it means here. Kavindele says former leaders shouldn't cry to parliament for benefits. Former Vice President Enoch Kavindele says running mates who served between 2016 to date should be entitled to the proposed benefits bill, insisting he has doubts about entitlements for those who served earlier. Yeah. Trying to align with now former top 2 leaders in the country, and conversation has in fact the bill proposes that all of them that served as former vice presidents from UNIP era or equivalent spouse should start receiving the amount. For the houses, only those that served as running mates, that's from 2016 to date, should be entitled to the house built by the state. But for those others before 2016, it's really on maybe even 50% or 30%, something just to ensure that you are comfortable somehow. But 80% can be supporting such. We are running to IMF here and there, and yet we have borrowed money. The way some men, you borrow money. From the money you've borrowed, you're even taking your girlfriend out. From the money you've borrowed. That's what we're trying to do now. Oh, who served as vice president? 1968. Where are you? Come. 80% of what Mtenda Blanco is getting is now yours. Oh, you died. Okay, your wife, come and get. From UNIP. I don't think our economy supports that. I don't think so.
And almost the same conversation was also around ECL and even just the former president as well, because between the president and the former president, it's still just 80% of what the president currently gets. Yeah. So even the privileges, of course, we have to respect the office. But if at all we're going to go down that particular route, how many formers are we going to be able to go down, former DCs and whatnot? So at the end of the day, it raises more questions, and it's a strain on the budget.
Yes, and see, the reason why it's difficult why I will not support all of them prior to 2016 is because then presidents were firing vice presidents at any time. How many vice presidents did Manawasa have?
And also, what about the duration of how long someone served?
Never member state for 10 months. You should start getting what others served for 2 years.
So it's okay, this score that those that served before 2016 shouldn't have to cry foul.
Really? I think it's okay. How many are even alive?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, because the issue now is the law is saying even their spouses. So you died already, so we should start looking for your spouse. Kamanga, our first vice president, where are you? You died. Okay, where's your wife?
What if they had more than one spouse?
Look at FTJ. No.
Or just the spouse?
Just the spouse. Look at FTJ. FTJ, at some point, divorced Vera Chiruma, got married to Regina post State House. But they are all, okay, no? Only one is from my first lady. Spouse are you going to? First spouse,
both of them,
second spouse, third spouse. those are lacunas that the framers of the law must deal with now.
Before we find another problem.
Yes.
And we'll talk about constitution and maybe the discussion will be about elections, but people never go down to the nitty-gritty.
And I don't even know why we don't think outside the box. Like, what if before Tandiwe was not the first wife of Rupia Band.
Is it the same with Michael Sata?
Yes. Majority of them, I think the church has raised the bar quite much, you know. So these are things that the lawyers and parliamentarians must be dealing with. That's why we need to send educated people to parliament, not people who just know how to shout yeah. Laws will be passed and later we have problems because they're not able to interrogate properly. So these are questions. You know, for me, I think those that said prior to 2016, we can allow them to rest wherever they are. The Nevas Mumbai, the Kavindeles, you know, let's allow them to. And also, the bill has not tackled the issue of those in active politics. People like Dr. Nevas Mumbai.
Who served and they're still in active politics.
He's a president of some political party somewhere.
Why hasn't he tackled that? It should.
Yeah. The same way ECO lost his benefits. We should also not be talking about, okay, so Dr. Nevas Mumbai, should we continue to regard you as our former vice president and accord you the respect when you've also returned to active politics?
Yeah, and ECO is a good example because after, of course, returning to active politics, he was
weeks, maybe 3 weeks before Parliament is dissolved. So it's a lot of work that you have to do. If it's not very urgent, defer it to the next, sitting after the elections, because this is a matter that you don't have to rush. List now we begin to go to court. No, spouse 1 has received, but spouse 2 has not received. I was also a spouse. Didn't you know that I was also married to this man? So these are things that we need to begin to look at, in advance before we enact that law. The minister says don't send patients to pharmacies when facilities have drugs, according to health minister. I love this new health minister, must admit. I love how active he is. I love how proactive he is. I love how he is in our face.
Right.
I love how available he is. I've heard him speak even in the National Assembly, debate even in the National Assembly. I have not heard from the Minister of SMEs. I have not seen him anywhere working as a minister. Maybe I check wrong pages. Not even in our news, by the way. Mr. Weope, please guide me whether you've covered the Minister of SMEs.
We do know that the health minister was actually in Livingstone commissioning the maternity annex at the airport clinic, and you spoke into how he actually cushioned the health workers against shouting at patients. You know how it is from the hospital environment. So he's been speaking, really.
No, he's actually working, really. He's really working, and I think, Mr. President, that was a very good choice of health minister. That's why they say don't rush to judge a person, because I think he's really more active and more available than Elijah Mchima. It wasn't that bad, but really, I think he looks very youthful, also quite energetic for the demanding role that the Minister of Health, has. So congratulations, Honorable Katakwe. Please continue on that path. Being proactive. I think we love it like that. We don't love it for your colleague, the Minister of SMEs, who has been extremely quiet. I do not know whether he's on leave or not, but the question God asked Adam, I'll ask again. Minister of SMEs, where art thou? We have not seen you. Where art thou? Are you working? Are you on leave? Are you on sabbatical leave? Or you've gone to campaign? Where are you? I have not. And please, the next time you see any clip of the Minister of SMEs speaking,
you'll be the first person I tag.
Share, please. John Mark. Dear viewers, in case you've seen the Minister of SMEs speak anywhere, please share with us in the comment section the link. We'll be so happy to hear him speak. I've not heard him speak. I have not heard him speak anywhere, not even in Parliament. since he was appointed.
And maybe he's working behind the scenes.
Right.
I don't know. He was not employed to work behind the scenes. No, you are
He's
in
working
front.
in the background.
You're in front. So check with your colleague, the Minister of Health. So in case you've seen the Minister of SMEs working anywhere, doing anything, please share that link with us so that we change our mind. But so far, the Minister of SMEs has been extremely unavailable to the public, in my view.
Can you be unavailable and still be committed? Like, I'm just unavailable, but
Using
I got
your
you.
own courts. Presence is the greatest form of commitment, according to Naomi. I don't know if I've said it right, but something like that. Presence. So you can be you can't be committed according to Naomi and not be present.
We must feel your presence.
We must feel your presence. We must hear you. We must see you. So Honorable Mafunelo or something like that, the Mfu MP, even your name is quite hard because you are not in our face. First of all, you are a new MP. We didn't know you. We don't know where you came from. He's a new MP. Just the not so long recent by-election in Mfue that replaced Maureen Mabonga. So he's a new MP, one. So we don't even know him that much. Now, God gave him the grace through the appointing authority to be put as Minister of SMEs. And yet he's still not in our face. Maybe that was a wrong choice.
Or maybe he will be soon.
Or in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, there will be no cabinet. Maybe he needs to be reminded that actually he only has 3 weeks to be in that office. That's why his face is needed.
Can magic happen before 3 weeks? Those are conversations and questions this morning.
Please, Honorable Minister, can you please prove us wrong? Otherwise, we'll continue here to demand for your show to the public. These are some of the stories you'll find in the Diggers. Let's get Mast newspaper. Leading story in the Mast. You've denied Lungu dignity. Kabesha disrespected the family, disregarded the mourning nation, says Harry Kalaba. Don't ratify Mbambi as a judge, according to lawyer. Remember, there are judges that were appointed by the president at all levels and subject to ratification by the National Assembly. There's one that has been said, do not. There's also a commissioner. Maybe me, I can join in saying about that ECZ commissioner. Says, Parliament do not ratify that Luansha aspiring member of Parliament from the UPND ticket who has been appointed as ECZ commissioner because he's from a political party. So my appeal is do not ratify. Yeah. Adopt women. Why WCA urges political parties. Government lying on Lungu body custody, according to Fred Membe. There's a statement, that the Attorney General released that actually government was at no point, they never held or took custody of the body of a CEO, against the revelations from Akebi Zulu, who claimed that on Thursday, government had in possession the remains of ECL, even did a post-mortem, but maybe the Attorney General did not deny or confirm whether the post-mortem was done or not. Did he?
Not that we have heard from him. Of course, he's spoken to how he claims the body was with the South African police, but he's not spoken into whether or not they had indeed post-mortem or not.
So these are some of the things that, coming in from, the issue of ECL. We've spoken so much about it to the point that I don't want to say much on that particular topic because I think we've exhausted our thoughts. We'll wait for the developments to unfold. But of course, we did also see in that regard, over the weekend, from the Diggers saying HH says he will stay away from Lungu's funeral if his absence will give a befitting send-off. I am yet to hear, I don't want to believe this until I hear the voice of the person that said it. Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha says President Hakainde Hichilema is ready to stay away from former President Edgar Lungu's burial if it will facilitate a befitting send-off. And Kabesha says Lungu's motto remains, "Have at no point been in the physical custody of government." Recently, of course, Makebi had charged that government had possession of Lungu's remains and had subjected them to a post-mortem without the family's consent. The Attorney General did not confirm or deny whether truly the post-mortem was done. What he denied was them having custody of ECO's body. He says it was the South African government, maybe under their authority. So who took the body first of all from Two Mountains to their mortuary? Because the court order was instructing the government to hand over back the remains of Lungu to the Lungu family. So meaning, I can't order you, John Mark, to give me a laptop that you don't have.
And on top of that, why would the South African government take the body for a postmortem?
No, so the South African government there to in fact, the Foreign Affairs Minister, from South Africa said something over the weekend. He made a statement, says, look, our view, and we've made it clear to both parties from the word go, is that this matter should be settled out of court. They should meet somewhere.
According to Mr. Lamora, he actually advised the Lungu family to be able to settle the barrier impasse with the Zambian government. According to him, as court processes may take up to 5 years.
Yeah. So, simply saying, honestly, you two parties, you fail to do this, you have to come to our courts. That's what you're simply saying. Very diplomatic way of advising. Look,
that was basic diplomacy.
Yes, you mean Mulansha Nyemweka. You have to come to our courts. That's what you're saying. If in street language you say Kazioneleni. That's street language. You're just being diplomatic. Kazioneleni Mwaku. But diplomatically you have to say, look, our view is that this matter, the two parties should meet, find a common ground. It's embarrassing to be advised like that,
Why is it so hard to believe that the president would now speak into how, if this is going to, stop the impasse and, I'm willing to keep away.
Where's the video?
But Mr. Kabesha is speaking.
No, even the statement he released, I didn't see that part. So I don't know where Diggers got that.
It would be good actually if government were to respond to either confirm that statement, because people are thinking it's AI. Why would they U-turn now? What has made them turn?
What has made them change after 10 months? They've been insisting that the president should be there.
Could it be the postmortem that can make them turn?
Maybe they wanted to ascertain who, what killed. Remember, Rafa Nakachinda made claims, that the food poisoning.
And on top of that, listening to Brian Mundubile, he mentioned a couple of things. Says what was the motive of the postmortem, according to him, and he also confirmed, Brian Mundubile, from his perspective, that the postmortem was done without the family member. What was the motive? And he said that it was actually an ungodly act. And then he also said that it was done on the basis of criminal investigation. So in my mind, I was thinking, why would they take the body on the basis of criminal investigation?
Maybe because of the speculations from Rafa Nakachinda. Rafa Nakachinda was on the rampage when ECO died, going to SFBC, going to ANCL, and say, look, we suspect food poisoning, but I can't go into the details. Who poisoned ECO? That was a strong revelation, actually, from Rafa Nakachinda.
How will we then be able to confirm whether the Digger story is true? Who will we be able to hear from? Government spokesperson?
The Attorney General must confirm whether that is true or not, because if that is true, let them withdraw the case. You know what to do. It's not just a statement. You are the one that has gone to court. They are the ones that started the court process. So if they withdraw, says, okay, we're withdrawing the case, because the president says if we want to give a befitting burial to ECL, I will not be there. So the case has been withdrawn. I can tell you in a week we'll bury ECL. But you can't say that and yet be in court. The two are not matching. Because if you say the president can stay away, then remove also the case in court. Then let the family do that. Maybe just give them a condition that for as long as you just bury in Zambia, not in South Africa, bury in Zambia, HH will not be there. So let Attorney General confirm that. So that's why sorry, Diggers, but I'm receiving that headline with a pinch of salt. Because I have not heard even the statement. I listened from start to end, that same video clip of Attorney trying to see where he said that. I have not heard that. That the president is willing to stay away. If there's a clip, please share with us. If there's a clip or there's a statement and that part, please highlight it. I've not seen it. So I doubt.
What do you also make of Brian Mundubile calling upon the traditional leaders to speak on this issue of the post-mortem rumors that are going around, including the church, calling upon the traditional leaders, the House of Chiefs, in other words?
I think we need to agree, John Mark, Naomi, here, that the church and traditional leaders have let us down on this matter of ACL.
Collectively?
Collectively, they've let us down.
But there's some individuals who have been able to speak.
Like?
Bish. He came through. Eddie Mulenga.
Yeah, very few. Very few. The church in general. Look at the church mother bodies, for example. What is their position? What is their position on this matter? What is the position of ZCCB? Of CCB, whatever. What is their position now? What is the position of the House of Chiefs on this matter? Because House of Chiefs, traditional leaders actually know the implications of having one not buried for over 10 months. In our culture, it's a taboo. You keep someone in the mortuary for 10 months because you have disputes. Traditional leaders must be able to speak, no, this is not right. You see, when HH was imprisoned for 127 days under the Patriot Front regime, the church rose. International community rose and says, look, we can't just watch, because he was charged with a non-bailable offense called treason. So he had to stay there throughout. And the man was going in. Because if you have to ask me what happened, shouldn't happen anywhere, is walk, you drive head to head with a Republican president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces. I don't want to go into the detail. But look, that should never happen again in this country. Never. Never. And no justification whatsoever. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces is driving. You also want to drive at par. It should never happen in this country again. Okay? So, that incident aside, which shouldn't in any way repeat itself, we should have respect for whoever is holding that position. We don't expect Sean Tembo to start driving head to head with President Hichilema, and we justify Sean Tembo's action. If Mundubile or Makebi, whoever decides to drive in same road at the same pace with President Hichilema, we should condemn that opposition leader. That is the office. Sometimes it's not the person we respect, it's the office we respect. The office. When we are respecting people that are higher than us, even organizations, sometimes ordinarily it's not you I'm respecting as an individual. Maybe I might not even like you.
The way we condemned what happened in Chingola.
Yes.
The stoning.
The stoning of the president. Commander-in-chief, you have the guts to throw stones at the commander-in-chief. That should never happen. So even what happened then, I'm saying it because I have never agreed with the justification that UPND members give. Never. Bwana, they are sweepers when the president is moving. But that's not a conversation. The issue is when he was arrested for, treason, the people rose. International community rose to speak against that action that the government was doing on the main opposition leader then, until he was released. He was not going to be released if people were quiet. The church spoke, traditional leaders spoke, until justice prevailed.
What if you hear the church speaking to how we have done our best, traditional leaders?
What have they done?
We've done our best, just the two parties were really, really stubborn to be able to put this issued to arrest.
What has House of Chiefs done on this matter?
And even on the House of Chiefs themselves, whenever they are speaking, we can talk about the salary increment for the chiefs. Then you hear them speak. We can talk about the building of the chiefs' palaces. Then we have heard them speak. When the traditional leaders are hosting their ceremonies, sometimes some of these traditional ceremonies, the president is actually present, and they even get to have closed-door meetings with the president. What do they talk about then?
What do they talk about? Truly, it's their interests. Oh, see, Mr. President, the palace, if Kugwa, Shanshani, can you please help us?
And yet they actually referred to as the parents of the incumbent each and every time.
Yeah. So it's very, very important to remind our traditional leaders that at this point their voice is needed. We should never normalize, and I say it with the seriousness it deserves. What has happened in the case of ECL should never repeat itself.
Wouldn't it be a little too late to speak now? Or it's never the wrong time to do the right thing?
It's never late to be right. It's never late to be right. The church can still mount up a voice and speak to the two parties. Traditional leaders can still. If Mpezeni, Chitimukuru, Mukuni, and all these others, Kazembe, said, colleagues, let's have a joint press briefing. Those are paramount chiefs. Let's have a joint press briefing on this matter. At this point, we are one. Let's speak one voice. This is what we demand should happen. And the pressure mounts. The country will do the right thing.
Just like it was when we were talking about the Constitutional Amendment,
Yes.
Bill 7. We saw the 14 CSOs speak. The traditional leaders came out to speak, and they condemned it. I remember the one particular traditional leader said, this issue, as much as you brought it here, you are trying to dupe us, and we will not be part and parcel of this. So we've seen instances when they speak, but why is it that they're waiting to first of all, wait for the others to speak? We've seen the likes of Nkosi to be able to speak from the Eastern Province. He's been very vocal in most cases. But on this issue, there's been silence.
Silence, and silence means consent. Silence means you're okay with the prevailing situation. What you don't want, you don't watch.
Maybe they're thinking it's too sensitive to speak on.
But that's when you don't. If it can only happen if you don't understand the power of your office. It can only happen if you don't understand the power of your office. They have power. The same way they know that they have power, they even endorse the candidate. They know that my subject will follow suit. But on this matter, unfortunately, our traditional leaders have not helped us. We are now a laughing stock. 10 months past the line. Our former immediate past president is yet to be buried because the two parties have not been spoken to by yourselves. Have you seen traditional leaders or the church even travel to South Africa to go and give counsel?
Even just the House of Chiefs.
Even the House of Chiefs. Have you seen them just going to give counsel to even the Lungu family? Look, that wish, it wasn't a good wish. Maybe it was a wish that you wanted, but I think let's do it this way.
And generally, by now they should have flown there.
So somebody should have spoken into how doing the right thing is far much more important than being right.
Yes.
Because it's the issue of who is right, who is wrong.
When you insist on your thoughts, then you have a problem.
Where does that leave their relevance? How relevant are they if they cannot speak on an issue that if they were to speak, it would carry more weight than the rest?
That's why I keep saying, people are in leadership for, selfish motives. Recently, they increased their allowances for chiefs and their retainers. They are very excited. Not knowing that we have a crisis in the country. Your former commander-in-chief has been in the mortuary for 10 months. And it's okay. Some are even saying, we've moved on. You are not a patriotic Zambian. If you can think it is normal to have your immediate past president, the country's president, not about a political party president here, country's president, being in the mortuary for 10 months, and it says Fiabo. Fiabo ba nani? Then you're not a patriotic Zambian. If it's okay for you, you're not a patriotic Zambian.
They're speaking into how they are tired.
You can't be tired when there's a national crisis. You can't. In your family, your mother or your father is in the mortuary for 10 months. He says, I'm tired. You go about your business. Morally, who will question you? Say, they can't vow. Your own parent. Something must be wrong. That was our parent. We may not like him. Like I said, it's the office we respect, not the person. You're not mandated. I've never, tried to be liked, but respected, not liked, because it's up to you to like me or not.
And feelings change. I may not like you today. What's going to happen tomorrow?
But respect, that one I demand. But liking, it's your cup of tea. So we're not saying like ECL, no. But respect the office he held. So if you truly respect the office of the president, because this, and you see how patterns are.
Maybe the problem begins from how, remember we're speaking to how the gift that you recognize will speak for you. Others did not even recognize him as president. So maybe that's where the problem begins, because then it's not even just about you having to not like him. You didn't even recognize the office in the beginning.
Yeah, then they have a problem. The problem is unscriptural. All leaders are put there by God, We're a Christian nation. Sometimes we need to start going back to the scriptures. Maybe we should be quoting more scriptures here, John Mark. Maybe so I have to start quoting more
Others
scriptures.
are saying we're speaking to how we are Christians, but a lot of us have actually ugly hearts.
Yeah, so the issue of ECL really, we do hope that one day we will get to finalize on this matter. I had an interesting guest on Saturday who spoke on this matter, Akim Mwemba, a governance expert, and there's something he said. He said, look, that wish that ECL made, that he doesn't want HH to be around, is an ungodly wish, and because he made that ungodly wish, ECL is going to hell. Can you imagine? That's a
based on that statement.
Based on that statement, that anyone that makes such a wish definitely can't make it to heaven. So we know where ECL has gone. Can you imagine? That's why we need to bury ECL before people start saying unpalatables. But the women have already said them. So
that's why one person said, "Thank God people are not God, because the majority would have gone to hell."
They'll be saying, John Mark, come party like when hell. You continue maybe in the Daily Nation, who ordered ECL autopsy according to KBF? Another story: HH should address the nation according to Bremna Changala. I think so. I really think so. HH interest in ECL burial constitutional, according to Kavesha. Opposition unity a lifeline. In the Daily Revelation, Kalabawo asked HH according to Bangwe Navile, as Kalabawo comes into Citizens First.
Bangwe has gone to Citizens First.
Bangwe, former journalist, former diplomat.
To India.
Yeah. Press attaché in India. Has decided to join politics and decided not just joining politics, I'm joining Harry. Calabar says Harry is actually removing HH. In secondary school, at the school where I was, at Parkland Secondary School in Chilanga, we used to have what we called a press club. So I had joined press club and I started reading news on the school assembly. The interest for journalism started many years ago.
Right.
Started reading news on the school assembly. And the teachers used to say something, say, look, that time Bango Navile used to work for Movie TV. The teachers used to tell me, Bango was at this school. In fact, Bango was doing what you're doing. So, you have a role model. Very soon you also be like Bango.
Upcoming Bango.
True to the teacher's words.
True to the teacher's words, we joined. In fact, the first institution I even joined was the same, place where he was. Movie. That's the first institution I even went to, by the way, formally. Now, I don't think I'll join where he's going.
I like the history. I like that you took us, down that road.
You're not following his footsteps anymore.
No, at this point, we had followed, but you have left us. now he's joined Harry and says Harry is going to remove HH from State House this year. I think it's okay too. The way President Hichilema says they are targeting 5 million votes, but Ngu also says Harry will remove. I think it's okay to
And
dream.
is it okay for him to also join, in any party of his choice?
Democratic right. It's a democratic right. I think he wants to stand in Serenge. It's a democratic right, and we can only wish him the best. Even dreaming or thinking that Harry Kalaba might remove HH. It's also the same way HH is dreaming that
how many votes?
He can get 5 million. It's okay. Dreams sometimes do come to pass.
Right, and dreams are free.
Yeah, it's okay, to dream. So you can dream that, those days, when we were young, we would chat. How many children do you want to have? 5, 2 boys, 2 girls. We're dreaming.
Yes.
How many cars do you want to have? How many houses?
We even had names of children. Danny. If you're dating, for example, John Mark, and your girlfriend is Naomi, you even say Jonah.
Okay.
Like the first 2 abbreviation. That those we are dreaming. But I think life now dawns on you like.
And politicians still have the ability to dream. But you never lose that ability.
So politicians are taking us back to when we were young. What do you want to be when you grow up? Pilot, engineer, doctor.
And you should have bad at maths.
By the time I'm 25, I'll have like 5 degrees, masters. The cars of the driving, the businesses.
And if wishes were horses,
beggars would ride. Then now life remembers you in the gist. So congratulations, and all the best with your aspirations. Government will get 3% from Unza hostel rentals after 3 to 11 years following construction works, according to Msokotwani. And let's close off with the Times of Zambia. HH extols Mswati. We did see him. He's now back in the country. Some good dressing directors.
Yes.
We can see that on the screen. Yeah, that's the president when he was leaving. This is the time that now he was in Eswatini. Maybe he should have also removed his jacket and necktie.
And remained like
the king himself. It would have been a very good picture. Isio had done it. Isio had removed.
I remember.
And they were just Isio was the president and a half with those dances. So welcome back.
The mangoes.
Yeah, welcome back, Mr. President. Eswatini is very good. John Mark with those good varieties.
I saw that coming.
I did too. Definitely.
Some good varieties, John Mark. You might want to ask the president to, that.
In terms of dress code,
to tag you along next time he's going.
He's asking in terms of dress code.
You'll come back married.
Eswatini, here I come.
Yeah. You come back married.
And those who've not been all over the place. Paul talks about how he entered marriage, a pure man. You will find those.
The way Naomi is entering.
Absolutely.
State House clarifies over public events. EU happy with Zambia. Vice President appreciates Zambians. Nkulukusa warns controlling officers. That's Secretary to the Treasury. Nyimba MP joins the UPND. And EU Germany launched 36 million euros farmers grant, and Green Growth Copper Belt launched to boost women-led SMEs. These are the stories in the tabloids this morning.
Indeed. Maybe we can just read 1 or 2 messages now before we transition to Jeremiah with the sports.
Absolutely. Keep the conversations flooding off our social platform, the Prime Television Facebook page, Zambia this morning, as always, and of course weigh in on the stories that we have been looking at this particular morning. It's Monday, and this is a good place to be at for you to be able to walk around with an informed mind. Nothing better than that, as always, every single time, and we bring you all of that and a whole lot more this particular morning, and of course beyond. So keep the messages flocking on our social platform. Joyce Moore says, never mind, he speaks with emotions, not facts. Of course, message here from Koilat says, good morning, Debreck family. Brother Paul, I enjoyed the interview you had with Akim Mwemba on matters arising. If you had followed what he was saying, based on what you were asking him, that man speaks his mind and speaks from his heart. Anthony also speaks into how in a civilized society court exists to determine who is wrong and who is right between disputing parties. The High Court determined the matter. This is Anthony, and of course Nelly Bijin in the comment section as well. Keep your messages coming. We'll be able to read them after we get to the calls this particular morning when we do have time. John Matt.
True. So keep your messages coming, and of course we'll be able to open up the phone lines just right after we get to hear from our sports award-winning journalist Jeremiah. We'll take a brief break and go to story number 3 by Favorite Chisi, saying government is being urged to prioritize reforms to the Public Order Act as the country heads to the polls. Operation Yankot. Executive Director Guest Nyirenda notes that restrictions on freedom of assembly restrictions on freedom of assembly and association continue to hinder political mobilization. Mr. Nyirenda says government should act swiftly on impending reforms to strengthen government's, or rather Zambia's democratic process. He has also called for the enactment of the political parties bill to operationalize provisions under Article 60 of the Constitution, describing the absence of such legislation as a gap in Zambia's democratic framework. Meanwhile, Advocate for Democratic Governance, ADEG, Executive Director Gideon Musonda has warned that current legislative efforts may not be sufficient to guarantee free and fair elections. Details in the following report.
You're just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the right levels. Omega 3 and... Blue Band. A spoonful of difference.
There's nothing confidential about the constitution-making process, for God's sake.
Then this diplomat wants to be funny, funding people to say no. You must make sure that this constitution does not go through.
Aren't you the same people who removed our meal allowances? So you are removing HH and you want to come in. So have you remove our meal allowances again? Sorry.
This country was gone.
Under the PF.
Under the PF, this country, my man, was gone.
Ask him to come and explain. Is that not insults? Now it becomes an insult because it's poor why me, and that why me must be discarded. No.
From day one, Michael Sata wanted me dead. Not necessarily physically.
He wanted you dead?
I don't want to answer that one for now.
Maybe you become the first female president of this country.
Exactly. That's where it's going.
That's where it's going.
As Zambia moves closer to future electoral cycles, calls for comprehensive reforms are intensifying, with civil society warning that existing laws may not be sufficient to guarantee credible elections. The Advocates for Democratic Governance says while progress has been made in reviewing the Electoral Process Act, the current legal framework still falls short of creating an environment for free and fair elections. Organization Executive Director Gideon Musonda argues that electoral credibility goes beyond a single piece of legislation.
The Electoral Process Act can allow you, yes, it's important for you to be adopted and participate in an election, but if Public Order Act is impeding you to exercise that freedom of association, freedom of assembly, that is key for mobilizing supporters, then the whole exercise, the whole effort that we are trying to, undertake, will be in vain. Look at the laws that we have, Cyber Security and Cyber, Crime Act. Again, those are taken away from the freedoms that have been guaranteed by the Constitution.
Operations Young Vote Executive Director Grace Nirenda says the Public Order Act has historically affected both ruling and opposition political players. Mr. Nirenda says successful governments have criticized the law while in opposition but failed to reform it once in power.
So for us, I think it's important that we put things well for everyone so that those in the opposition enjoy, those in civil society enjoy, those in the church enjoy, and everyone else enjoys, so that even when you come yourself to be in the opposition, you don't lament like the PF today is lamenting, because they should have changed the Public Order Act that time. Okay, but here is their lament now, they are lamenting. Does the UPND want to even lament louder than the PF by continuing with the current Public Order Act? I don't think so. So let's do it for Mother Zambia. Let's do it for all of us and our country.
Favorite Chisi, Prime TV News, Lusaka.
Right, and even as we continue with today's edition, a kind reminder that we're expecting you to drop a comment on our Facebook platform, Prime Television Zambia. Let us know your opinion, but let's also be aware of the cyber laws as well that give us a little bit of hindrance as well, but we could still be able to comment on issues of national interest. And it's always important to remember that courtesy costs nothing. I love sports, even on a Monday, and I'm excited yet again to be able to introduce the sports award-winning journalist, our very own JC Blaze, as it's called on the radio, Jeremiah, on set with us. I know that the 15th of May is slated for the FA Cup final. Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea managed to make it through. He's got that and much, much more right here in the next 15 minutes. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you, JC?
I'm good. Now, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Can't wait for the marathon tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to run. You know, a marathon, you need to prepare. You just don't get into it and start running. It doesn't matter how fit you think you are.
I like the honesty.
People
really
collapse. You know, because
that's
people
true.
Collapse. Because one thing that you should understand is that the fitness that we have, or maybe I might be thinking I'm fit, but marathon is a different case altogether. It's really different. So I don't really have to start the long distances. Even when you are running for your fitness, you don't just get into it and start running. You have to start, just maybe just a kilometer. You start increasing depending on how you're feeling, how your body feels, and then you continue getting bigger and running, so many kilometers after that. But you can't just get into a marathon and start saying, no, I'm going to run because I'm fit. I might be fit, I might be playing football and whatnot, but I'm not fitter for the marathon.
Right.
It's a different, I have to understand my body better. And expectations are that a lot of people will be running for this marathon, and we've seen that it has increased. Of course, they're expecting to have 6,000 numbers in terms of athletes that will be running, and I think we've seen so many people that have been responding to marathons. They've really been doing it. They've been going through to this, and which is a very good thing. So they've got 4 races that we'll be looking forward to. There is a 42.2 kilometers that will start at 5:30. So by the time that we starting off, some of us were waking up, others are running, which is a very good thing, because it's a little bit chilly at that time, so it's a good thing for running. And and 21.1 kilometers will start at 05:45. It's also early in the morning. I think we have to give way to some of them to start, and then others will continue running. Then 10 kilometers will start at 6:15. At least it's already up at that particular time. So, and then 5 kilometers at 7 hours. So this particular the starting point will be Nangwenya Road at Forest Park Hospital. For those of you who know that place, you can just go there at 05, and of course they've got so many things that they will be wearing and whatnot, which is a very good thing. And probably let's get through to it, because I was to see that these guys were just doing ratings that support, and Olympics, the LA Olympics that is coming through. Taekwondo is part of the Olympic Games, so probably they will be just doing gradings to make sure that they train themselves, they get ready for this. It was it was amazing to see coaches being trained, doctors being, and some of those that are medical personnel, to understand how they're supposed to to tend to these people that are in combat, the cadets. If they get injured, and so many others, administrators also were just going through the paces, understand supposed to do it, especially that we're going to preparing for the Olympics. And I think this has to continue. It's not just supposed to be a one-off thing, because what happens in most cases, we may start, but continuing or just doing it consistently is one thing that we don't do in our country. So, but I think we have to continue doing so that we prepare. At this particular moment, it's about qualifying to the Olympics, and so we can have a lot of numbers representing us, so that we do better and win some of the medals to win. And one beautiful thing also that happened was that we did have in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe National Championships that happened on the 25th of April 2026. For the longest period of time, in as far as athletics is concerned, we never had some of these things like javelin, shot put. I think back in the days at school, we used to hear about this. And for the period of time when OIDC was opened, this used to happen. But there was a longest period of time that we never used to hear about this. When you talk about athletics, we were just talking about running the 400 meters. I think it's really taken a lot of publicity, especially when it comes to Muzala and everybody else. But we don't really talk about javelin. We don't talk about, and I'm pretty sure that there's so many people that don't even know what javelin is all about. So having somebody that won in javelin, and I think these other sports that is part of the athletics, is coming back, and we love it. That's why it's called athletics. I think we've got the track and field events. So track and field, the track events are those that we've been doing, and even track events we haven't been doing a lot. We've just been doing 400 meters, 200, or 100 meters mostly, but we don't do a lot of other things that we're supposed to do. So I think javelin, we're having somebody that managed to win a javelin, and his throw was about 65.38 meters. It's a long thing. It's a long throw actually. He did the 70, but it wasn't legal, so it was removed, and then the legal one happened, and he managed to win it. It's amazing to see javelin coming back, and kudos to the Zambia Athletics for bringing all that back. And we did talk about all this week. We've been talking about Esther Phiri coming back and fight for the last time, and she did. She did fight, and one amazing thing is she managed to win. And you remember when she fought this particular individual, the fight ended in a draw, which was a very sad situation, because it ended in a draw, a technical draw, and it was reviewed and everything. She wasn't really happy, so she had to go back and fight the same person. And obviously, the judges, some of the judges, we had Matthews Mwape, Sandra Phiri, and Mabel Mulenga. They scored 40-36. It was non-title fights, and of course, it was just for Esther Phiri bringing back or giving back, and just giving back to the community. And I know that it was really difficult for a lot of people to just just forget about Esther Phiri. You remember that when she stopped fighting, I think it had a lot of things that came up, because I think she was, some of the people were saying she was suspended, some of the other people because a lot of people said she was sick, so many things that came up. So I'm glad that she came back and fought for the last time, and for the good cause. And we only hope that the money that she realized she's going to do the right thing that she's talked about, giving back to the community, giving back to that girl child that was never given a chance to do whatever was supposed to be given, so that these kids will stay away from early marriages, they'll stay away from drugs, they'll stay away from bad vices that they're supposed to be doing. But at that particular time, they will be because we can't have a boxer he's a preacher man.
We can have both.
Yeah, but maybe yeah. I was called the preacher man. We'll find out. Away from there, we had the Zambezi, the Battle of the Zambezi. So we were playing against Zimbabwe. It's a norm. Every year we have these games back and forth. So one of the games that happened was first of all in the Zimbabwe part, and then we'll get to Zambia and play this particular game. But we were beaten 43-31. It was a very sad situation because we looked forward and we were hoping we were going to win, but yeah, we were beaten hands down. So what happens is more than just a game. I think there was cultural norms sharing of cultures, and we share the Zambezi River, we share the Victoria Falls. Some of the tribes that are in Zambia, they're in Zimbabwe. We've got so many people that are in Zimbabwe that are Zambians in Zimbabwe, and so forth and so on. So it's a lot more than the game, but on the field we were beaten. I don't know about the cultures and whatnot. So we should be having on the second. I think we should be having it in Zambia. So we'll see how things are just going to be if we're going to turn around. And then of course we did have the ABSA and expectations. We've got Power Dynamos and Red Arrows getting into the finals of the ABSA Cup. So they are fighting for 1.1 million kwacha. So the winner is going to walk away with that, and we only hope that for Power Dynamos they're in contention of 2. They've got they are still topping the table and they want to win the double, and they look like they are poised to do that because I think they've got a very good team, beating Might of 400s on penalties 2-1. Red Arrows beat the Border Boys, Chirundu United 2-0. First, and they will be hoping to do exactly what they're supposed to do. And coming back to obviously before I go, coming back to what he talked about. I know he's Arsenal and he wants to talk about all these things about Arsenal, Chelsea getting into the finals. I think there's a very good chance that Manchester City can win the 3, but it's not yet. So because obviously the FA Cup, they're in the finals, they're playing against Chelsea, who are not doing very well. They fired the coach, and them getting into the finals is a good thing. And let's see how they're going to do it with the new coach that they're going to bring, probably. And Manchester City, obviously, they've already won the EFL Cup. They're looking forward to winning this, and they can win the league as well. They win a treble. That's a domestic treble. So, but I feel that for Arsenal, they've got a chance to get back. Of course, they're on top of the table after winning against Newcastle. They've got another game that they should be playing before Manchester City plays against Everton. So they will play next week after the Champions League. Tomorrow they will be playing against. They will be playing the Champions League as well against Atletico Madrid, and then of course they will play earlier than Manchester City because Manchester City, I think they're playing on Monday, so Arsenal will be playing probably on Sunday. They have their game against Fulham, and they're at home against Fulham. So they will get on top of the table 6 points ahead of Manchester City before Manchester City plays the game.
Jesse, I'm interested for me tomorrow, obviously being KK Day, something interesting as well. Taking place, even just hearing from the Football Association of Zambia, First President One Keith Mwemba, who is calling on the Zambians to attach greater importance to the commemoration of the Gabon air disaster. According to him, he says the tragedy which occurred in 1993 claimed the lives of the entire Zambia national team. Of course, he's speaking into how FAS will engage government on ways to give more significance to the annual commemoration held every 28th April. He also directs all provincial FAS committees across the country to ensure that the day is properly observed. Anything that we're doing tomorrow in commemoration, or us indeed attaching the great going back in 1993.
Well, it's a good thing, but I feel that we haven't really done enough as Zambians, because those were heroes. They died on duty. They were supposed to go and play a game that was a qualifier, and we haven't really done well, especially when it comes to families. I think they've never had closure. I think by now could have given a report of what really transpired. So government and Football Association of Zambia really needs to do more, especially when it comes to the families. He needs to take care of them because I think they've grown. Even some of them have even started playing football. Some of them have even got families. Some of them have stayed away from football because of what happened, because they still have the trauma of what really transpired with their parents. But I feel that we haven't done enough. We could have done better. Even just give a report of what really transpired so that at least the families do have closure. And that's what they've been really looking forward to. And sit down with the families and look at the biggest thing that we can do in our football. You know, even just come up with a copper or with a cup game that is going to be sponsored by government or anybody else can sponsor that particular cup in the name of the Gabon disaster. The tragedy that really transpired, which is supposed to be a good thing, and that's a good way of commemorating. Unlike the situation that happens, some of the people just goes there and clean and forget about it. It's like nothing happens.
Right.
And look, nobody is even talking about it. Because it seems like it's just a by the way thing. Nobody cares anymore. But I think we need to do more, especially now. I think we need to do more, especially that we've got Keith Mwemba, who played football at one point, and I think he understands how the pain of losing a family member in that particular way. Of course, he can actually do something better. Even a museum where we can just build something that everybody else who is coming to Zambia who wants to know about all these things. We've got some of the pictures, some of the things that these guys did when they were alive, and just better things that we can build. Because Keith Mwemba talked about a museum, and I'm hoping that he's going to do it as soon as possible. So those are some of the things, and I think we need to do more. Fans, everybody, I think we've neglected this particular day. It's a very big day.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll be able to get some closure regarding what happened, even as the FAR's President Keith Mwemba spoke into how he will engage with government on more ways to give more significance to the annual day commemoration held every 28th, which is coming up tomorrow. So indeed a big day, and it should be commemorated and remembered as such. John Mack.
Indeed, JC, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for coming through, giving us an update in what is taking place in the world of sports. And I love the fact that it is sports holistically, because sometimes focus is only on football, but at least you've talked about javelin, keeping us up to date that, hey, there are actually some sporting disciplines that go under the radar. Very, very important that we shine a light on them, and hoping that other sponsors will come on board and also just ensure that they also promote these sports. I like what Sports Minister Elvis Kandu once also mentioned, to say that we need to just move away from only talking about issues to do with FAS, but we need to talk about all of the sporting disciplines as well. We'll take a brief break, and then on the other side, we'll be able to open up the phone line so that we can get to hear what you have to say. We leave the best for last, and of course, the best is when we get to hear from you. That is the favorite part of the show from our end.
Some kids are just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the right levels of omega-3 and 6. Blue Band, a spoonful of difference.
There's nothing confidential about the constitution-making process, for God's sake.
Then this diplomat wants to be funny, funding people to say no. You must make sure that this constitution does not go through.
Until there's some people who removed our meal allowances. So you're removing HH and you want to come in. So after you remove our meal allowances again? Sorry.
This country was gone.
Under the PF.
Under the PF, this country, my man, was gone.
Ask him to come and explain. Is that not insults? Now it becomes an insult because it's poor why me, and that why me must be discarded. No.
From day one, Michael Sata wanted me dead. Not necessarily physically.
He wanted you dead?
I don't want to answer that one for now.
Maybe you become the first female president of this country.
Exactly. That's where it's going.
That's where it's going.
now we open up the phone lines. We want to get to hear from you and to get to also get your opinions, your perspectives. Remember that even as you're calling in, you have to reduce the volume on a television set before you can even go ahead and give your contribution. Please ensure that you begin with your name, where you're calling us from, and then you can go ahead with your contribution. It must be within a minute, 30 seconds. It is important that you adhere to those basic rules so that we also leave room for others to call in. We've got a backlog of individuals who have been trying to call in, and others are on our necks sometimes, telling us to say, please ensure that you give us ample time. And this is the time for you to be able to call in. And sometimes I laugh with those on set to say, the people who say you should give us more time, when you open up the phone lines, we don't.
My message is to
but we're hoping that you will.
The combination of political parties cannot gather 2 million votes. 26. So we have given a leeway to Hakainde. He may score 6 million. I'm saying opposite political parties combined cannot garner 2 million. I'm looking at the numbers of the registered voters, 8 million plus. Opposition combined cannot hit 2 million. And what do we do? The opposition is true. Hakainde will not go 5. It is going to go to 6 million votes. That's my message. All right.
Thank you so much for calling through. Our first caller. We'll take at least hopefully 5 more calls, and then we'll be able to give our concluding remarks. The time is now 9:22, and we are just in the dying embers of the Monday edition of Daybreak. Yes, good morning. This is Daybreak. We have a call on the line. You're through to the People Show.
Yes. The panel talked about the incarceration of HH when he was in opposition. The journalists, those the panel. Now, what was the verdict? Then, apart from that, those panels, they talk as if they are supporting PF too much. Always when you talk on that program, you blame the government, the president, and the UPND. I'm not UPND, but I'm following this program every morning from my phone or from at home. It's so sudden that Prime TV has forgotten where you are coming from. That TV station was closed by PF, and every day looks like those three journalists, they are PF. I think the Prime TV can do better. I thank you.
Zero 776409840. You are through to the People Show Daybreak. Kindly begin with your name and where you're calling us from as well.
Yeah. My take is whether President HH needs more than 5 million votes. The answer is yes, and those votes are attainable. Currently, when you look at the opposition we have, they have already showed Zambians that they don't mean well. For the first time to hear someone using the dead body, the death of someone into politics. So who can you tell are those people? As Christians, can you vote for such a person who tries to use the death of the person just to benefit oneself? We even wonder what kind of a family President Lungu did have that can allow that. Using the parents' body, death, for someone to benefit, to become the Republican president or to occupy a public office, and you allow them. Now, what are we going to allow for Zambia? It means we shall allow a ritualist to govern us. So, President HH has proven he's a unifier, he's a hard worker, he really embraces everyone, regardless of the region, regardless of the tribe. So who else do we need to have if not him? If you look at those in the opposition now, they have nothing to offer. All that they are saying is to promote hatred, division, ethnicity in this country, and the ritualism. So who can you want such people to be their public leaders? So let us gather together and support this man even forward. I just want to ask the party, the UPND, not to readopt people who have fallen out of favor of the people. If they are still valuable, let them use them somewhere else. But give people a person whom they want to avoid voter apathy, to avoid voter apathy. Because if you impose a person on the constituency, just because you are popular in that, it might affect voter turnout. So those who have fallen out of favor of the people in the constituencies, don't readopt them. Use them elsewhere. Give them other jobs elsewhere. I have a good example of my brother, Matthew Jerry in Kingston Central. He was never readopted, but now he is serving the nation in the foreign mission. Not only him, my former MP for Mulobezi, once independent, but worked with the party. Today is a district commissioner in Luampa. So even these other people who have failed out of favor, use them elsewhere, my president, as you get re-elected. Don't allow them to continue representing the people who no longer want them. That will affect bring about voter apathy and voter turnout. But HH is the only one that is capable of uniting the nation, as it is already proven. I like this Munduvile, Zika, Lazima, Kebi. I think those are bad symbol of public leadership, and they failed us before. What has changed in them? Just the few years they have been in opposition, then they are different people, especially that they are now using the death of someone to win sympathy for them. I think we don't deserve such a people in a Christian nation. I thank you.
Thank you so much for reaching out. And just a reminder that we will be able to continue tomorrow as well, sometimes from 7:30 up until 9:30. That is the last call we'll take for today. So we hold the phone lines. Thank you so much, those behind the scenes, for ensuring that that segment is also made possible. We have about less than 3 minutes, and we need to give our concluding thoughts. Naomi.
Indeed, issues to do with mental health. It seems the doctor from Chainama has been making rounds from the weekend, getting into the week. Death distress drives rise in mental health cases. Chainama Hills Hospital in Lusaka says it is recording an average of 10 cases per day of stress, depression, and anxiety linked to death distress. Hospital spokesperson George Kafuna has disclosed this in an interview. Dr. Kafuna said many of the patients present with severe psychological distress, often accompanied by suicidal thoughts, largely due to pressure from creditors or business failure. Very sad readings, John Mark, like I speaking into this morning, how the doctor has been making rounds from Chainama, and now it seems a lot of mental cases on the rise because of death distress. So we do know that even like from civil servants, it's a norm that is, there has been there, where you get into the service and you're already getting so many things on debt, and that as a result, of course, a lot of mental cases are on the rise. And so conversations again on how you always must live within your means. Yes, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to have more, but you should have more based on whether or not you're able to afford, and not because you want to impress the people that don't actually even like you. With the coming in of social media, we have a lot of pressure from there. You want to impress the people that don't actually even know you in real life or in person, and so hence you borrowing, and now as a result turning into a lot of mental distress. I hope we can do better. Feels like it's financial literacy month again.
Indeed, and I think it's important to even get to hear from experts as well. Hopefully mental health experts and even financial experts in the course of the week. And I think these conversations must be had alongside the political conversations. And if we had time, what I've also wanted us to dive into what Bino Mpundu had mentioned. I think those are very, very interesting conversations. But time does fail us. We are on the wrong side of time. We'll be able to continue discussions tomorrow, same time from 7:30 up until 9:30. We want to appreciate the fact that you've allowed us to keep you company, of course, this particular morning. And some of you might be able to watch the link much later on as well. We acknowledge and give you a shout out. Maybe it might even be today or perhaps even years to come. The good part with technology, it gives us that link. It links the past with the present as well. We'll meet tomorrow same time. And of course, kudos to our Traffic Watch team who went ahead of us today, the likes of Oswald Kafwanga and Clank Glovu, our Traffic Watch team.
Some kids are just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the right levels of omega-3 and 6.